Today's episode of Breaking Relics, we're going to discuss things that inspire us and not to take shame in the things that you enjoy. I don't absorb as much media as I used to, which is funny because you can see all the media that I used to heavily absorb. And to be fair, I do revisit some of it from time to time. I have like a huge collection of Hellboy that I want to reread his whole arc through Hellboy in Hell, and then I need to pick up a whole bunch of other stuff I haven't gotten around to reading yet. But I love Mike Mignola's art on that. The thing that not entertains me. The thing I find interesting about media is that everybody has an opinion on it. And everybody, especially with social media these days, shouts their opinion or tries to be, the final word on different things. Hey, as long as you're enjoying something, don't let anybody take that away from you. I enjoy a lot of superhero media. Not as much as I used to, but still a fair bit. And it's just funny to me where a large majority of people seem to have the idea that, superhero media is the same as it was back in the 60s and when, it had the appeal of being more for kids, even though if you look back through a lot of that stuff, it really doesn't. It's for all ages, but it wasn't geared specifically toward kids. And as we've gotten older, comics have evolved. Most comics these days are not for kids. A lot of the publishers do lines of things for kids, and most superhero comics are not just black and white, which is what the world seems to just think it is. I mean, most media has some sort of, where do they take the stories from? They take it from life. Specifically, I've been revisiting the X-Men animated series from the 90s, besides reading The Age of Apocalypse, where my quote from the other day came from. It's a kid's show, at least I grew up with it, but I saw an editor of Marvel recently, because they're doing a new relaunch, because they do that every few years to get people back into reading, that kind of thing, if they've lost some people, or to get hyped for new readers. Hey, a new good jumping on point. But the editor was saying that it was on one of the social media sites, and he was basically saying if anybody comments bigoted comments on this or anti-LGBTQ comments on this, I'm just blocking you. We're not going to get into the discussion. You're not going to spew your hate. And then there's been a whole bunch of people doing this whole, the X-Men have gone woke. Excuse me? The X-Men have gone woke. The series that always began as an allegory of the civil rights movement has gone woke. I watch, they have various degrees of, stories in the animated series, but a good 25 to 50% are all dealing with mutants being hated. A lot of them are with humans going after them for being different. The X-Men aren't woke. I've never understood the attack of woke either. Oh, I want to know what's going on. I want to be awake and aware. Woke is the dumbest concept for people to attack as bad. But yeah, And then there's some other things that I think inspirations. I mean, Dragon Ball. It's very different from its origins, but the original Dragon Ball series was a modern day inspired version of the Monkey King, which is a fun story. And, it's evolved over the years. And, out of a lot of the media I do absorb, it's one of them that is, I don't think it has as deep a subtext as a lot of some of the others, at least not to me, in the sense of it's clearly showing this, because a lot of it's just our guys like to fight and they look cool, which is fun. The one big thing I noticed out of that series, though, and why I like Goku so much, is he is not looking, he doesn't fight with, or very rarely gets angry. He doesn't fight to try and hurt people. He's wanting to just have the experience of getting better, being his best self. And in a culture where martial arts was big, it was a way to do that. And then, yes, there's most of the time he's fighting more seriously, it's always to save his friends. But the more interesting thing I find in that art, in that series, is the majority of the people he comes across in battles, and this goes back all the way to Dragon Ball, through Dragon Ball Z, through Dragon Ball Super, is a lot of the big arc people, he turns them by his nature and they become Z fighters, part of that family, the good guys. I mean, Chen, Yamcha, Vegeta, Majin Buu. I mean, I know it's not the evil or the big twisted one, but it's still a version of him. But yeah, a large, or even the androids. Krillin, he was originally in competition with as well. So it's just, when you spend enough time with people, and if enough people are rubbing off on you, people can turn and be good. So that's sort of what this is about, is one, making people think of media through other lenses than just entertainment. Even something like Dragon Ball, there's a lot of stuff you can gather from it to learn about our world, yourself, and what you're looking for. I think that's just something all of us should think about.